All right, folks, how you doing? First off, I just want to thank you for taking time out of your day to spend it here watching, listening to me rant. So I want to thank you for that. I know time is very valuable in people's lives and you're spending it here with me. So check out the website, trueresults303.com, links in the description box, social media links, and I'm also starting to put other videos in there that are similar on topic. All right? So now that I've been diving into my faith, I talk about it more on camera, trying to meet more Catholics, more Christians, get a little bit more involved. I always get the question, what do you love about the Catholic Church? To tell you the truth, this is video 2 because last time I was 7 minutes in and what I had said I wanted to say at the beginning. So here is number 1 reason why I love being Catholic and I enjoy being Catholic. We celebrate Mass every day. I can go to my church every day right down the street and worship God and listen to the Word every day of the week. My church is Monday through Friday, 8 o'clock in the morning. Of course, if you have the time, some people don't have the time. If you go downtown, my mother goes to church every day at noon. She gets to work a little bit early so she can have a longer lunch so she can go to church. So my mother goes to church every day at noon downtown at the cathedral. I don't think it's a cathedral, but one of the main churches down there. And then Saturday nights, 2 to 3 times on Sunday. So that's a great blessing in itself. From what I understand, a lot of the other Christian religions, they just kind of do it on Sunday, maybe. I'm not sure. So don't quote me on. Another thing that I think is really great about the Catholic Church, my cousin converted to Catholicism, and this is one thing that she thought was really great, that every Catholic in the world reads and listens to the exact same scripture as everyone else. So we're all reading the same readings every day, right? Now the message might be a little different depending on what the pastor or the priest is going to talk about to try and relate it to real life. But every Catholic in the world is going to read the exact same scriptures every day. If you go to church every day, they have an app where every Catholic can read the same exact scriptures every day. So we are learning together. Like they say, Catholic just means universal, right? We're the universal church. We're united as one. And then I just thought of this. I was listening to one of, I think it was Tim Staples, an apologetic, one of his talks, and that's what he says. You want to know another thing that you can be proud of? He said, just be proud knowing that the Catholic Church feeds more women, children, and men around the world than any other religion, any other organization. They clothe more people than any other organization. They pretty much help more people than any other organization in the world on a day-to-day basis. So that's a great thing as well. So now I'm just going to talk about, this is where I started off the other video. One thing I like is, I came from a broken home. So growing up, and a lot of people in America right now are, divorce is at the highest rate ever. I think it's above 50%. So a lot of young children, like myself, are growing up in a broken home. And I think we all love to say that we want our children to have a better life than we have. But the thing that we get wrong is we think a better life is giving them more stuff. When in reality, I can look back on my life and I can be honest with you right now watching that the greatest gift that I could have gotten was more discipline, more love, more being there, just those types of things. And that's why I think the tradition and the discipline that the church talks about and believes in is a great thing. And I wish I would have looked it up because I mentioned this in scripture in the last video. I don't remember it though. When the rich man comes up to Jesus and says, "What do I have to do to make it to heaven?" And he says, "Follow the commandments." And he says, "I've done all that ever since I was a child." Okay, now go sell everything that you own and follow me. And then they said the rich man walked away sad because he couldn't give anything up because he had a lot. And I think that's the great thing about the church. It says, look, we want your all. We want you to give everything to God, and these are the things that we can, that we believe can help you. So that's another thing that I think is really great. I think the saints, the communion of saints, is a really beautiful thing because we have a tendency nowadays to look up to sports stars, actors, rappers, musicians, presidents, things like that. And if you truly want to be the greatest Christian, the greatest Catholic, the great, a saint. We are all called to try and be saints in our lifetime. There's nothing better than having all these saints to look at, their biographies, their autobiographies, things that they have written, and study that. They say, you're usually going to become the environment. They say you can. What's the saying? They can tell what kind of person you are by the company you keep, or something like that. So it's great that we have all these saints to fall back on and to really be able to study, because they were all like us, just sinners at one time. Like they say, every saint has its past, every sinner has his future, right? So, I think the saints are a really great blessing for us. Next is the Eucharist. I was talking with a client about church the other day, and he didn't know what the Eucharist was. I haven't really talked too much about religion with him, but that's the bread and wine. Once the priest blesses it, consecrates it, we as Catholics are to believe that it is truly the body and blood of Christ. And once I started to take that serious and really try to spiritually intertwine myself with that concept as I'm receiving it, I feel a greater peace. I will not lie. I feel a greater peace when I respect it for what it truly is. And I wish I would have looked it up. I said it in there before. I'm horrible at memorizing scripture names. I'm just horrible at that stuff. It's something I need to work on. But when the disciple said, he wouldn't believe until he saw Jesus's hands and was able to stick his hand into his side and things like that. And then that's when Jesus told him, I wish I would have looked it up. I apologize. But, where he says, blessed are those who have not seen and believe. Right? Something along those lines. Like I said, I apologize. I'm early in this journey, folks. I'm still an infant. So, but that's the same thing. Once I started to believe and recognize that is the body and blood of Christ, I think I've had a little bit of a spiritual awakening. It's helped me. Next is confession. We all got those, those dark secrets that we keep balled up inside that just eat at us, that we don't ever talk about, and they beat us up inside. And being able to step into that confessional and confess those sins to God and get guidance and a little bit of wisdom from the priest is a great gift. And some of these things I still struggle with daily, and as long as I keep going back into confession, eventually these things come to light, and I'm able to to defeat the sin in my life. So that is a great thing right there. I had a few more, but I think I'm drawing a blank. I just think it's great. Just the church is there, just the guidance that the church has. We have all these different types of prayers. We've got the Rosary, the Stations of the Cross, all these different things that that can help you in learning. I think that's another thing. When I watched, funny story, I was watching one of those MTV shows called, I can't remember what it was, something, True Life, I'm Leaving My Religion or something like that. And it was a young man who was Protestant, Baptist, something like that. And he was leaving to become a Buddhist. And, I don't know his given situation, you were able to hear some of the story. But, I believe maybe he should have tried the Catholic faith. That tradition and everything is so deep. I think sometimes when we don't have that tradition, and, you feel like you've learned everything you can, and you're still not getting anywhere, people can struggle and fall away from the faith, right? But the Catholic Church is so rich in teaching, in the saints, everything that I've talked about. It's so deep in knowledge that, it's almost you're always learning. You're never going to become stagnant unless you decide you just want to stop reading and stop learning. If not, there's way too much to learn. There's way too much to read about that you would never get bored. There's always the answer, and we have all these great things in line that help with that. So, there's just a little breakdown of why I believe, the Catholic faith is the way to go. They're there to guide us in every aspect of life. which is what Jesus was trying to do as well, guide us in every aspect of life. He expected our best, our all, and that's what the Catholic Church expects as well. And I know it can be difficult and overwhelming, but we just got to keep striving to be better people every day. And I believe that the church truly does help us to do that. So once again, thank you for watching. I know your time is valuable. I said it at the beginning. Thank you. Thank you for watching. Subscribe to the channel. Share and like these videos.